aggressive jungler in his own right. We'll have to see how that matchup's going to fare as we head into Champions League for game number 1 between Newbee and RNG. Already, Sivir and Azir being taken away by Newbee, whereas Nidalee and Rek'Sai going to be taken away by RNG.
Yeah, and you know, you already mentioned it. MLXG going up against Swift. They're two of Swift's best champions so far. You'd have to throw the Lee Sin in there as well, because he is a great Lee Sin player. But this kind of shows the conundrum right now that is RNG. Sivir, Azir, they are throwback bans to pretty much the MSI patch if I've ever seen it. Ryze, of course, is a staple here, but Uzi doesn't play the Jhin fish. And it hurts me a lot, but he's probably going to play Caitlyn or Lucian today. Not
a single game on Jhin so far this season for Uzi. Happy, on the other hand, has played it a couple of times so far. Both of them do play Caitlyn as well. It's possible to be a contested pick here if somehow Jhin is not on the table. But Trundle is the final ban that will come out from RNG. Kindred, Vladimir still left open.
Yeah, so, you know, Gauntlet thrown down. I guess they don't really fear Dade in the laning phase. And most of Dade's champion pool is scaling. So we'll see whether that does impact how he prioritizes right now. Vladimir is the obvious one that you would probably say they'll go towards.
That's probably going to be what they lock in here. Wouldn't be too surprised by it. Probably one of the stronger champions. Had an interesting start to the summer split. Vladimir was banned out against certain teams, and other teams just completely avoided it.
Yeah, disregarded it completely. Historically, Dade has been a fantastic Vladimir. I mean, he's known for his team fight, and the control that he can have over the map is no different on that. And they lock it in! Thank goodness!
We get Uzi on Jhin.
I am so happy. Like, incredibly happy, because
he's on Newbee.
Yeah, no, shut up. So Jhin is such a powerful laning AD carry. He can really dictate the flow of a lane, especially give him something like a Bard as a support. So really excited to see what Uzi and Marta can do in the 2v2 lane that RNG so fervently seek out in the LPL.
So Uzi's first game on Jhin this split here will be against his previous starting AD carry being happy here today. We'll have to see what he locks in as his AD carry of choice. For now, though, they've also got MLXG on Elise, a jungler that's becoming a little bit more popular in the current meta.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's a lot of early game pressure that can come out of Elise. I think that, especially if you have like lanes that you want to start snowballing ahead, is making a case to be one of the better junglers at the moment.
And Brom and Ezreal are going to be the two lock-ins here for Newbee, a very popular combo from the EDG lineup. So Happy going to be playing his Ezreal here today.
But one thing I will point out is they play them in incredibly different fashions. If this is a bottom lane that is EDG is picking up, you're expecting them to level 1 a Freaka brush, you know, very much try and bully a lane around, use their power spikes well. Happy and More, when they pick up this duo, is a very backwards moving duo. They want to farm up a lane, they want to get Happy towards 2.5 items, then start team fighting. And I don't know whether RNG are going to afford them the same luxury, especially if they go Bard Jhin. That is an incredibly potent 2v2 lane.
Jhin already very oppressive at the start of laning phase. Bard is so strong from level 1 onwards. And he's just a very oppressive champion himself. Does get locked in. So Mata will be playing the Bard here today. We also get Lupa on Aurelia up in the top lane.
Yeah, and Lupa's kind of a funny player. Like, he plays very good teleporting champions, but then you also have to remember that he was playing pretty much exclusively Assassins when he won the Worlds run. You know, he has a Singed in his sleeve somewhere. Throwback to the direst days when he was playing on the North American server. So Lupa is a very funny player. I love watching Lupa run around the Rift. He had a terrific MSI. In fact, I think I put him on the All-Star group stage team when we did it, you know, the pick 5. So certainly proving that time and time again, he's not just the teleport call that people made him out to be on Samsung White. He does have impressive mechanics to go along with it.
Let's see what he can do on this champion here today. On the flip side, does look like Newbee are looking to try and lock in their jungler of choice. It's probably going to be this Lee Sin here spawn that you talked about previously.
Yeah, and Swift's a really good Lee Sin player. Also uses the Fnatic skin every now and again. Shout out to Spirit, of course, one of his friends that plays over in the EU LCS now. This is such a typical Newbee draft. I mean, they have a very good kite back comp. They have the Maokai there to absorb and maybe look for a flank engage. But they'll mainly be looking for Swift's kick and, you know, seeing if they can get anything done there with very high sustained DPS. Talia would be interesting. Does shut down a lot of that great control mage on the current patch, especially if you itemize towards Rylai's Crystal Scepter. But only rookies pulled it out so far in the LPL. So Xiaohu would be throwing the gauntlet if he is willing to pick that one up.
And Karma was left open as well. We talked about this a lot during the last series, how it's normally picked up as a support, but has flexed its muscles in the mid lane and will do it once again here for RNG.
And is seen as kind of the counter right now to the Vladimir. I think this is the third or fourth time we've seen Karma taken into that matchup, itemizes into Morello Economicon very easily and kind of negates with some of the AoE shields and big burst damage what Vlad wants to be bringing to the table.
I think the first time we saw this matchup was when LGD played it, when Punish took it to the mid lane against Vladimir. And did pretty well once he got his blue buff and just sustained throughout the rest of the early laning phase. Now RNG going to be playing it here today, so very interesting team comps coming out from these two teams. We also have to touch on V picking up Maokai here today as well.
Yeah, so that's actually one of his stable champions. I think, is it still his most played?
Most played.
Yeah, he plays it all the time. So, as I said, I think both teams are incredibly comfortable with what they got. A lot of backline dive threat with Bard, Karma. You speed up the Irelia, you speed up the Elise, send them in. I mean, Uzi's going to be relatively untouched just due to that fact. And, you know, it's about Swift, whether he can go get the Jhin and bring it to the rest of his team.
We'll have to see if Swift can do just that. He's up against MLXG here today, who is very aggressive jungler himself. He's on Elise as well, despite Kindred being left open. But we have to see how these two pan out as we head into game number 1 between RNG and Newbee.
We come and we go.
All of us have also loaded onto Summoner's Rift here today for the first match between RNG and Newbee in this best of 3 series. RNG still looking really strong in the summer split of the LPL, only dropping a single game so far, whereas Newbee up and down throughout most of the split so far.
Yeah, a lot more down than up, actually, to be honest. Would be a great win to pick up, however.
To take a look at the Keystone Masteries very quickly, but before that, actually, Happy's been stunned up here by the Bard. Was being chased down
here we go
by the Rom. Already a level 1 fight taking place between these two teams. 80 carries versus supports. Happy has to back away. There's going to be a Karma coming down here as well. Moore takes a lot of damage. Another shot comes out from Jhin. They're just forced them to go back to base.
Yeah, so they actually kick them out of the lane completely. I mean, they bring Karma down. So they give away positioning around the map. No summoner spells burnt from either party. But already the muscles of Mata being flexed in that little 2v2 skirmish.
Well, we saw the Keystone Masters picked up. Again, another Thunderlords on Jhin. Thunderlords on Bard as well, so very oppressive lane. Lee Sin also taking Thunderlords to Rift here today.
Yeah, of course. Lee Sin is great with Thunderlords. You kick someone in the head and you just follow it up with a resonating strike there. You're going to kill him, probably.
Let's see if Swift can kill a couple of people here on Summoner's Rift today. As we are going to see standard lanes take place between the two teams. So Uzi will get his rematch, not so much a rematch, but his revenge match, so to speak, against Happy.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. And, you know, actually going down fairly low there, Mata, on the first camp, so he needs to be careful. The support's taking damage doesn't really matter at this stage of the game.
Xiaohu also misses a Q there on towards Dade, so he gets a good trade on Vladimir this early into the match.
As I said, Dade is actually a relatively good Vladimir. One of his weaknesses when he used to pick up the champion is exactly what he's doing now. He zones from a really low level. And used to get picked on a little bit, used to get ganked fairly often on the champion. But had some fairly famous outplays. Going to bring up one that's kind of relevant because it was against Xiaohu himself back when he was on Garmty. And actually got the 1v1 with Vladimir into Xiaohu's Jace back then. The solo kill, which is very rare for a Vladimir to get back on the old Vladimir. Now a little bit more seen a little bit more often.
Let's see if he can do that in this game. As V already being a little bit aggressive towards Looper here, gets stunned and traded back quite nicely from the Irelia. Looper does seem like he got the worst end of that trade.
Yeah, it certainly did, and the lane's starting to stack up a little bit for Looper, so he needs to be careful that he doesn't lose control of the creep wave. As you can see, Dade overextending. He's going to be ganked. This is what I mentioned.
MLSG coming into the lane here does actually lock down the Vladimir already just from the Karma W. And no pull available for Dade. Has to use the Ghost to get away.
Meanwhile, Swift tried to pay a visit bottom lane. Wasn't able to get anything really off. So in the end, it is just going to be... Ooh, there we go.
He finds it. Gets the Thunderlord's proc there on towards the Bard. Cute has come out from Ezreal too, but they're just poking away the Bard, trying to get him out of the lane.
And Uzi is so confident. I mean, he steps straight back towards the creep wave immediately. MLXG was spotted out across the other side of the rift. They do need to be careful here.
Happy though, still trying to keep this wave as close to his tower as possible. He's been doing a good job so far. It's been rather even between these two AD carries. Happy a little bit behind in terms of CS, with a big wave pushing towards Uzi on top of that.
Yeah, so wave's going to reverse. So Happy going to be zoned off a little bit of creeps, you think, here as it starts to push back in. Swift needs to spend a little bit more time on the bottom side of the map. But looks like so far top side of the map going pretty well for the newbie lineup.
V's been pushing in towards Looper here. Mid lane Dada has been rather aggressive. Only had to burn the Ghost earlier on today. Looper still trading back and forth with V. The Malkite's been doing a pretty good job of keeping healthy during these exchanges, but MLXG is now making his way to the top side of the map.
Yeah, and has been playing very aggressive. Bad ward.
V now going to get taken down by this Elise here. Goes straight up into the top side of the map. Maokai has to be really careful. Flash forward from Looper. Finds first blood.
Yeah, so Looper able to pick it up there. Does have to burn a summoner spell and going to have a hand here shoving in the wave. That's a really bad ward out of V because it didn't spot MLXG coming into the brush. Gave him a little bit false security.
So now Swift being rather aggressive in the mid lane here. Xiao, who returns the damage quite nicely onto Lee Sin. Swift had to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, Chunks out. Xiaohu just a little bit, but as you mentioned, was traded back. So Swift needs to, I guess, probably return home, honestly. He's a little bit low.
An instant teleport does come out to the top side of the map, though. V wants to try and soak up as many of these minions as possible.
And RNG so far have a massive lead in the game. They're up 1,000 gold already at only 5 minutes in. And as I said, Swift, like I don't even understand why you went back into the jungle.
Almost dies.
And wow, that's a build out of MLXG.
He's gone for Moby Boots straight away.
I don't care about the Moby Boots. He's got a Dark Seal as a jungler fish. Get your priorities right.
He wants to kill people this game, it feels.
That is a confident build.
And he's already making his way down towards the bottom side of the map. Mata trying to get the binding down. There comes the snare coming out from Jin. Gets Cocoon as well. Already MLG trying to make his impact to the bottom lane too. But Moore is able to get underneath the turret.
Yeah, so able to get out of there was Moore. Of course, the Braum Unbreakable destroys the Q out of Bard. It means that you can't ever get stunned by it. So nicely played there. Out of Moore. His best champion is probably Braum.
We see a lot of teams prioritize recently. Already RNG has found a gold lead from themselves just from the gank they got top lane, the pressure they've been having across the mid lane and bottom lane too.
But really, it hasn't been that much pressure. It was Swift that had pressure on the bottom side of the map early, but still nearly a 20 CS lead going over to Uzi. As we said, we're excited to see him pick up Jin because he has got those lane bully tendencies. And now Swift in some trouble.
In a lot of trouble here. Tries to go to take down the Raptor camp. Gets the Q on towards Xiao, who is going to be able to flash away. But it's a follow-up coming in from the Karma. Does get the Thunderlord's proc. Dade puts the ultimate down towards the mid lane, trying to take him down. Flashes forward for it. Will get that kill, but MLXG's right on top of it. Flashes forward on top of that. Spider's going to sink his fangs in towards the Vladimir and takes him down.
And this is why you pick up Dark Seal on your first back as the Elise, because you're able to chase people out of your jungle and grab 3 immediate stacks. MLXG, you just caught him out. Swift goes over aggressive, and you know, even though he puts on the fancy footwork to get out, it's actually Xiaohu that ties him down. Has to burn the pink ward as well. That hurts. Dade gets a trade back, but gives over 3 precious Dark Seal stacks.
And had to burn his flash as well there to try and get the return kill at least.
Get the Magi's going, MLXG. You are ready, my friend.
He's looking to kill people, and he's not stopping. He's already going for a double amp tome here.
That is
opting for his jungle item.
The recipe for jungle item. Don't panic.
Okay.
Okay, that actually is what the jungle item builds out of.
Not upgrading his smite just yet, though.
Nah, no one does that.
There's more. It's going to be taking up a little bit of damage coming out from Mata here. A really aggressive game coming from RNG. Didn't expect anything else from the lineup.
No, especially not against Newbee. So the thing about Newbee is, like, we've already mentioned it, they just have such a sloppy early game that you would expect this is the way that RNG would want to play against them, like, really quick out of the gate, see if they can bully around the lineup. Because as we mentioned already, Ezreal and Braum, especially in the hands of Pekko and Moore, are just going to be pushed in under the turret time and time again. And really is a little bit unforgiving that they're not able to match the tempo of RNG, because this is where we've seen them get punished.
2,000 gold down just 7 minutes into the game is a big deficit to find yourself in.
They wake up the dragon as well.
Want to try and take down this Mountain Dragon. Hasn't been spotted out by Newbee yet, but they're not going to opt to do it. So they put a couple of wards down in towards their territory. Swift's going to be able to take down red buff here. He must have a little bit of extra damage if he decides to go for any more crazy ganks.
And Xiaohu's starting to bully out Dade, as you mentioned, first blue being given over. And you can see him posturing him very aggressively. Come on, Xiaohu. When I talk you up like that, you can't just do that.
Misses the Empower Q. That one, it's upside the map. Things are definitely taking a change for the worse for V, as Looper is now starting to be a little bit more aggressive, trying to zone him away from as many minions as possible. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it certainly is. Dade just not able to withstand, I guess, the constant poke that's coming out from Xiaohu. And now MLXG wants to get even further involved.
It's moving on towards this final mid. Pots the Cocoon out, locks him down, gonna sink his fangs in again. Xiaohu picks up the kill before he can even pull.
Come on, Xiaohu. Who has the Dark Seal in this matchup? Is it you or is it MLXG? Stop taking the jungler's kills.
Meanwhile, V in a lot of trouble here. Swift has to make his way up towards the top side of the map. Can't do anything too much except for save the Maokai.
Yeah, and Looper just steps into his creep wave, and there's absolutely nothing he can do right now. Meanwhile, it's MLXG that's going hunting for the Maokai. He's been caught.
He's got those Moby boots. They're going to be able to run pretty fast here. Finds Swift, who tries to dash forward. Going to go toe-to-toe against the Elise here. Has to jump on forward, but a teleport comes straight on top of the Spider Lace. Goes into the air there. Here comes Xiaohu looking for the kill to the Swift. One more attack's going to be enough. MLXG gets the Dark Seal stacks.
Xiaohu saves the mid laner, saves the Dark Seal. Another kill goes over to MLXG, and RNG are really dominating Newbee at this stage of the game. That was unlucky to not be a double.
Whew. Aggressive coming out from Newbee already. This time around, Xiaohu gives it over to Swift. Going to get even more stacks on that Dark Steel. That's a very scary early game at least.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think that's 6 stacks already. 10, of course, being the maximum you can pick up there. So see whether he upgrades anytime soon. Does get the jungle item first. Not going to lie, I am slightly disappointed in that.
Straight up for the Runic Echo. It's been picked up by the Elise. Lots of damage coming out from LXG. And it's a relief to see Elise being played a little bit more aggressively. We've seen a lot of Elises be a bit more passive in the games they've been playing so far.
Yeah, it certainly has. And this is a 4,000 gold lead at only 11 minutes in.
It's looking like a disaster for Newbee so far.
Yep. That is one word I would use. An absolute disaster, in fact.
Well, you take a look at the bottom lane so far. It's been fairly quiet between the two AD carries. There's a little bit of a lead for Uzi in terms of CS here. Tia being picked up by the Ezreal as Lupo going aggressive on towards V again.
Yeah, 25 CS actually to Uzi in what is like pretty much a standard lane. Now they're looking to see if they can get anything done.
Well, they locked down Happy there, but a good block of the W coming out from Moore. Stops any more aggression coming out from RNG. Uzi has the Serrated Dirt picked up, looking for the components of a Yomu's Ghostblade. Happy have a little bit of trouble here since he's picked up the tier as his first item on Ezreal.
Yeah, and look, Ezreal's everywhere by tier as their first item, but they don't fall behind by this much generally. That's better from Dade, stepping back into the minion wave. But he's down 30 CS as well, 2-1 and 2, and already a Morellonomicon picked up.
RNG actually forcing
Newbee
away from the bottom
lane. As I said, Newbee play a very neutralizing Ezreal Braum, and the thing is that RNG aren't greeting. They just deny one creep wave and go back together as a unit. They're going to come back with equal power right now. Another bottom lane would maybe look to push down the turret, rotate around the map, but RNG, instead, they're just going to take the little advantages, although Xiaohu has just soloed out that turret.
He's going to be able to take down this turret all by himself here. He's able to lock down and get so much poke damage down towards Dade as well. Meanwhile, Mata and MLXG, they're going to be able to take down a Mountain Dragon for their troubles, and Inferno is going to be the next dragon to spawn in this game.
And there is a reason they're called RNG Fish, and that is positive RNG right there. It's because their team name's Royal Never Give Up. I have no idea what you're talking about. But to go from Mountain into Inferno, that's pretty good.
It certainly is. It's good RNG there, Spawn. I will actually talk about it since I wasn't. But they're 5-1. They've already got a massive gold lead for themselves. 5,000 gold ahead of Newbee. 13 minutes into a game.
This is a shellacking so far. And Newbee is no stranger to falling down in the early game. But this is quite something else. So we'll see whether they are able to hit back. Another pair of Moby boots picked up. Mata zooming around the map as Bard collecting chimes.
Newbee, once again, being a little bit more passive. You can already see Happy and More trying to take away Gromp instead of heading into the lane. MLXG still has that Moby boost and the Runic Echo as well as the Dark Seal here.
And MLXG has such a good job as a jungler. I mean, you have 3 winning lanes naturally. I mean, you pop your head top, you make sure that one's going to win because it looked a little bit shaky at the start. You know, V was doing a good job. But then after that, I mean, now all he has to do is bounce between the winning lanes, applying pressure, and there's really nothing Swift can do.
And already, Uzi again pushing up this wave towards Happy and More. Making sure he can be as aggressive as possible. He's 30 CS ahead of Happy right now. And that's just growing and growing.
We said he didn't really play the Jhin to our knowledge, showing us that... Like, I'd seen it a lot in his solo queue history, but obviously hadn't picked it up competitively, but is actually playing it incredibly well during this laning phase.
Haven't quite seen it in team fights just yet. Team fights are always relevant.
Are we going to get there? Like, this is the problem
Possibly.
with Newbee. I agree that, you know, they're a great team fighting team, but if you lose out at pretty much 15 minutes into the game, I don't know if you ever get to a situation where it is an actual equal team fight. And he's going Hextech Proto Belt. MLXG looking to see how much work he can get done early in this game.
And we saw it on, I think, SOFM when he played Nidalee in the jungle. So a few more of those AP junglers now picking it up.
Any chance you get to mention SOFM, huh?
As V now gets jumped on here by Looper. Lots of procs at the Trinity Force. I mean, the Sheen comes out for the Aurelia. Is able to knock them out of lane.
Really nice mechanics actually there for Looper. Picks to jump to one of the creeps, gets the extra distance there. Really chunking V out. He's now 32 CS in the lead as well. And things are just devolving rapidly on Summoner's Rift. They're taking a second turret in a 2v2 lane. And Newbee have no answers. 2
turrets to none already for RNG. If they didn't lose Xiaohu in the 2-on-2 engage we saw in their jungle, when they came out 2-1 in terms of the kills, it would be nearly a perfect game so far from RNG.
Yeah, it certainly would be. Happy shooting more than he is shooting Uzi at this stage of the game, trying to stack up that tier. And they've just controlled every part of Summoner's Rift. I mean, Trinity Force already done. Huge item spikes on every single one of RNG's lineup. And as I said, team fighting aside, I just don't know there is a way for Newbee to get back into this game.
You can already see MLG being a little bit aggressive there. Staying very deep into the red buff territory of Newbee. And you're right, it's going to be really difficult.
So say team fights start at about 20 minutes into the game, which is probably roundabout where, you know, Dragon's going to be respawning about 18 minutes. They're going to be looking to get themselves in action. At the current rate of the game, they're already going to be 9,000 gold behind. And when you only have 24,000 gold and you're 9,000 gold in a hole, that's a big deficit percentage-wise.
33%.
Yeah, you're giving literally an extra 2 members to a team.
And Dragon is going to be spawning in 2 minutes here, and that was the Infernal Dragon, something that RNG would definitely want to set their sights towards after a very impressive early game, something that Newbee wanted to try and deny away from the RNG lineup.
Although they have still swapped towards this top side of the map, so, you know, they want to be able to knock down another turret before that stage. Keep this dominating press of Summoner's Rift well in hand.
And Zamashi now is sweeping out the Elise in here. He's going to be able to spot. So it's going to be a 2-on-2 again. They do get Xiaohu. Will be able to take him down. Unless you're trying to return one over towards Swift. It takes a lot of damage. It's going to be Martino picks up the kill with the binding. Dade now in trouble. Has to pull out of there as Looper's going to join the fight. Temperfade forces the flash. Coming up for the Vladimir. More now trying to do what he can. V is all the way into the back lines here. MLG loses all those Dark Seal stacks as Newbee are now trying to team fight this one out. Uzi is going to go join the fight here. Gets taken down by Happy. Looper, the last man standing. And they've done it, Spawn. They get an ace against RNG.
They get an ace and they bring it back within 5,000 gold. RNG go for an aggressive invade and Newbee actually punish them for it. Fish is so surprised he nearly dies on the sidelines, but it's just Xiaohu. He gets picked off. This is a team fight without a mid lane. It gets no damage down. And Swift able to put on the boots means that he gets back over the wall. Really, this fight still looked like it was going to go in RNG's favor, but a quicker collapse came out of their bottom lane. Happy's able to get there. V puts down all of that damage onto MLXG, and they're able to pick up the kill.
Such a big choke point for Newbee to turn the team fight around in there.
Really good job from Happy. I mean, he waits for the exhaust to run off before he gets the ultimate clean across 3 members. They're able to get concussive blows repetitively onto multiple people. And when you're fighting against a Maokai, the Arcane Smash, because you max it first, just becomes this repetitive, obnoxious knock-up in these small choke points. And all of a sudden, you know, there's actually a chance that Newbee turn around and say, hey, let's fight for this dragon.
And they didn't have, like we said earlier, Xiaohu was not in that fight because he got picked off so early. And Swift there almost face checks into the brush. And Xiaohu's just this damage threat that just keeps churning out Qs and does so much damage over time. Couldn't help out in those team fights.
He's also a lot of the utility that comes to the table as well, so...
Now MSG still looking to be aggressive. Moore going to take a lot of damage here. Gets locked down by Xiaohu. He finds the first kill. Kurtzakor has been proper. They're all out of range now. Swift has to try and back away as Xiaohu's going to continue his chase towards the Lee Sin. Tries to go for the Duke, but doesn't find it. Swift does get sniped up there by Looper. So not going to be the kill going towards Uzi. And RG find 2 more picks for themselves and now look towards the Dragon.
Yeah, Uzi's team fighting has actually looked relatively poor so far, to be honest, on the gym. But they're still able to come away with a couple of kills. And now Looper wants Happy. Dragon will be secured one more time from RNG. And a couple more stacks go back onto that Dark Seal.
So don't actually go towards the Inferno as a team. LSG is going to try and take this one out all by himself there with the Spiderlings helping him.
I'm pretty confident he's got it.
He does have it there. So Infernal Dragon is going to fall on over towards RNG. Another Infernal Dragon is going to spawn on Summoner's Rift here today. RNG really coming out trumps.
Yeah, in both senses of the word, definitely the case. They're once again looking for an aggressive invade onto the top side of the map. This has just been RNG to a T this game. They really do want to dominate the flow. Make sure they're taking away absolutely everything they possibly can from Newbee.
Xiaohu going to be able to take the blue buff away from Newbee.
And the magical journey. You saw he wanted to walk around. Marta said, I've already pre-prepared this road for you. Please take it.
Marta commanding his mid laner.
Xiaohu said, you didn't take it. And Marta said, get in the magical journey, damn it.
Making sure he follows orders after what happened last time round.
It's not really all that much to break down from this game, honestly, Fish, because you just feel that like they have an incredibly scaling comp. Maybe that's what they're waiting for, you know. Can we get towards the very, very late stage of this game and try and make it so the Vladimir as well as the Maokai are going to be more useful than their counterparts?
Well, they're approaching the 6,000 gold lead again. If they can find a pick before these team fights, certainly looks possible for Newbee, but unless she already making his way towards the top side of the map. Gonna miss the Cocoon. Swift is actually nearby to try and start a counter gank here. And when she has to try and run away, gets into the magical journey using the Proto Belt. More now in a little bit of trouble as there's the Temper Fate, locks down both Swift and Happy. Immediately Kurtzakor comes out. Swift taking so much damage. Xiaohu has joined the fight too. He threads the needle on top of her as 3 kills go down for RNG.
Yeah, it certainly does. So in the end, he is able to get the team fight together on the Jin this time around. 21 minutes in, that's going to be the Baron already started off.
And that's 9,000 gold in favor of RNG. It's been looking like an absolute slaughter so far. Glimmers of hope from Newbee doing their team fights. But this is just a huge deficit they're going to have to try and fight back from.
Yeah, glimmer of hope. They had one moment. Now they're back to being 10,000 gold in a hole at only 21 minutes in. And, you know, just when you thought that RNG were maybe playing a little bit too confident, opening the door for a comeback, they close it pretty resoundingly.
Uzi now going to head back to base. Gives us some time to check in with the items that have already been picked up on RNG side of the map. Trinity Force Dead Man's Plate for the Irelia. So Proto Belt was completed coming out from the Elise. Looking for an easily large rod next. That's a full AP Elise so far from MLXG. As Karma in the mid lane has that Morellonomicon as well as Luden's Echo being picked up. Looking towards a Rabadon's Death Cap next. As Duckspade of Drakthar is the second item being picked up here by Uzi after the Yoma's Ghostblade.
So well and truly ready to fight, especially when you compare them to the counterparts. They're pretty much a major item over everyone.
Nothing much being picked up by Newbee right now. Still components of the second items from V. Swift struggling as well on the Boris Enchantment and the Hex Drinker.
Swift has been dominated by MLXG this game. I mean, he's down pretty much 100% of his CS, 66 to 112. As you said, Hex Drinker Warrior picked up versus what is the full AP Elise. And now V looking to get dove.
Has to be a little bit careful here as Newbee trying to put some damage down towards the bottom lane outer turret. Moore takes some damage in return. Magical Journey gets the rest of Newbee to relative safety. The inner turret does fall down for Newbee. So now 11,000 gold up in this fight.
Yeah, 11,000 gold, 23 minutes, 45 to 34,000. You know, you don't see it getting any easier because, even though Newbee have a great late game team comp, RNG's late game team comp isn't bad by any measure.
MLXG finds V there, just chunks
That's
him down
ambitious.
incredibly low. MLXG now has to be a little bit careful as Dade's joined the fight. Flashes over the wall to get away as Temper Fate will come out too. Doesn't lock down anybody.
Aha, so the old bait and switch. Dangle a spider in front of someone, take a turret at the same time. Sneaky MLXG there. Lucky to not die, but you know.
They get the objective.
All's well that ends okay.
Now 12,000 gold up. That gold is just keep going up and up for Newbee. For RNG right now. There's a minute 45 till the second Infernal Dragon of the game is going to spawn. RNG have complete control over Summoner's Rift now. They could take that one away with relative ease. Happy wants this red buff, but Marta has something to say about that. They're going to slap him down there. Uzi gets a critical as well. MLXG going over the wall there to pick that one up. Even the red buff spells trouble for Newbee right now.
Yeah, so not able to pick up their own red buff. V has to burn the flash to get away from Xiaohu, who had him tethered. You know, I always wanted a pet tree. Never could really get my leash around one either, so he is able to live another day.
RNG already looking to try and push down the bottom lane inhibitor. They still have Baroned up minions there, even sped up one through Kama.
Oh.
Flashes forward. They're looking for the double sell to Swift and more. Lots of damage goes down. They're still able to live through that, but they lose the bottom lane inhibitor, and the inhibitor turret's going to fall first. Dade does get locked down and chunked out by Xiaohu there. And Uzi gets a nice W on towards Dade, looking forward, flashes forward for the Q, gets the bouncing grenade.
Uzi, no.
Loses his life for that one though, as now Xiaohu's the next target. Flash forward for more, gets the ultimate down as well, knocking out multiple members of RNG. And when she does go into the air and tries to repel out of this one, as Swift goes into the fight, kicks Xiaohu into the team. V gonna join up now as Magical Journey gets him on top of the Lee Sin. They take him down. Not quite, actually. He's able to escape. Temper Fate tries to lock down remaining members as a double kill comes out for Happy. He wants to continue to chase, but Looper's just like, sure, I'll take all your turrets for this.
Yeah, he certainly has. So Looper stays top lane. He grabs the turret. Now he's just going to wander lazily back down the lane and see if he can make a getaway. Looks like V and More want to have something to say about that, but that's a long chase.
Not going to get it. This Dragon spawns as well. Another team fight goes in favor of Newbee.
And really, I blame Uzi for that. Because Uzi flashes forward aggressively. You know, he picks up a kill, sure, but he costs MLXG even more stacks. Get a GA. MLXG, next item GA. I agree with your thinking. Because now they have to kill you twice to take your stacks.
At this point, I think Uzi needs one too if he's going to be that aggressive in these team fights.
Is instead going towards a more of Malmortius. And this has been a pretty one-sided affair. They're 14,000 gold up fish. And
26 minutes into the game as well.
Yeah.
Pretty dominant coming in from RNG. The Dragon spawns have definitely been in their favor as they look to take down the next Infernal Dragon.
Well, technically, both teams have access to the Dragon. But that is a technicality of this game. I mean, Newbee hasn't been allowed anywhere near it.
Yep. The final Elemental Dragon spawn is going to be another Infernal Drake. So this somehow drags on even longer. And RNG still have control over that pit. They're going to have so many teamfighting stats just from the Elemental Drakes. And he's got a
Wit's End. They're having a little bit of fun now, I think. Wit's End has been picked up. Of course, double magic users. Wit's End isn't bad at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Lots of attack speed for the Aurelia. Damage on hit style,
yep.
And see MLXG's going for the Rylai's Crystal Scepter as well. So lots of magic damage coming out from the
Technically helps out MLXG and, you know, Xiaohu. So maybe he's just a selfless player.
Could be. He's 3-2-11. So helping a lot. Actually, Protobelt's aggressively forward there. Temper Fate comes out, locks down Swift. Here comes the Curtical as well. Gets one on towards Swift. Gets the second two. Threading the needle quite nicely so far. But V with a big tank in between the rest of his team to stop any more of that.
Whoa.
There's so much poke damage coming out. Happy has to try and aggressively arcane shift forward. This inhibitor will fall down shortly if Newbee don't put up a good fight. MLSG losing a lot of health here, but Xiaohu's already taken down the support. There goes the True Shot Barrage across the rest of the team. Dade gets locked down as soon as he comes out of his pool, as V's going to get locked out too by Xiaohu's W. Going to keep the Maokai stunned up. The inhibitor will fall, and RNG looking towards the Nexus.
Yeah, it certainly does, and Happy just got exploded by Xiaohu. Marta says, take the magical journey. Xiaohu says, no, thank you. That goes into their Nexus fountain. But it looks like the rest of the team ready to clean up the base.
They certainly are. So Nexus turret's going to fall. MLXG flashing forward to try and take down Swift. V picks up that kill though. Looper though dives straight to the backlines, takes him down. The tree is next. They're trying to cut him down, but he's getting desperately back towards water as V comes back out. Going to be able to stop them, but they still get the Nexus turrets down, working on the Nexus. And
Have they left it too long?
They're going to be able to take game number 1 against Newbee.
Certainly looks like it. They're still not hitting the Nexus. It finally will fall down. Victory teleports coming across from the players. I think it was about 25 minutes, Fish. Whew, maybe a little bit longer, but...
Could have been a little bit earlier.
That was a one-sided affair if I've ever seen one. And once again, not happy Dade today. This is a tough matchup for Newbee.
They gave him the Vladimir, and they just picked the Karma in return. They pretty much styled on him in that mid lane coming from Xiaohu.
Honestly, every lane won, and you know, when that happens, and then when you have the more aggressive jungler continually invading the forest, I mean, we were joking about it, but MLXG literally had free reign over the entirety of that map, and there was nothing Swift could do about it.
And you know, this is something we see a lot in the LPL where junglers will start to pick up Elise, not be that aggressive, but MLXG, he was the true definition of an aggressive Elise player in this game.
Yeah,
he was all over the map.
And he kind of did it at MSI as well when people were like, you know, maybe Nidalee's falling out of favor. MLXG picks it up, shows how well you can path on the champion, that you can still farm incredibly well, you know. The Kindred Twitch comp. He's an incredibly smart player as well as highly skilled, just understands what he needs to do. This was kind of the beginning of the end for Uzi. He flashes forward. And you know, it's not his life that you have to worry about, Uzi. It's the life of your spider. Will someone think of MLXG on the back end of this? Because Uzi certainly was not.
He was losing stacks left, right, and center in that match, mostly due to his AD carry. Tried his best to stay alive here. Wasn't quite working out for him. Actually, with the interesting item build here, it still worked out so well for the rest of the team. And Newbee, they had one good team fight where they were able to pull it back from a 9,000 gold deficit.
Yep.
This one looked slightly in their favor. They lost so much from it. But it's just not enough. RNG were just walking all over them with the gold lead they picked up during the early game.
Yeah, they certainly were. And this is the last team fight. And you really just see how big the gold lead was. I mean, Dade flies onto the back line. We've seen Vlads do this time and time again, be unkillable. He just gets completely decimated. And then, honestly, the Q here onto Happy just destroys him. Like, he dies instantly in that team fight.
It certainly did. And it was a massive victory from RNG. Newbee still look all over the shop here. They're just not looking great in their first game against RNG.
No, and the problem is that they've always been a great team fighting team. Like, you get them even or slightly behind to a 30, 35-minute team fight, they're going to be able to get it done. But they're falling behind too far in the early game. I want to see them comp towards something a little bit more early game.
Well, let's see if they can do that in game number 2 of this series. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll bring that one right back to you in just a moment.